Hey everyone. So the question is, what is the best age to start lifting weights? Well, the answer to this question is that it's age related, but it's not age dependent. So obviously, if you take a 9-year-old girl or boy, someone that age isn't physically prepared to lift weights, not to mention they're not, mentally or cognitively prepared for it, and they're not ready for the type of coaching, the form-based coaching that would be used for lifting weights. Okay, so that's pretty obvious. So what about a 12-year-old or a 13-year-old or 14, 15, what have you? What age is the right one? Again, it doesn't depend on a number here. Every kid is different. So, a 12-year-old girl, let's say, might be more emotionally, mentally, cognitively, and physically prepared than, let's say, even a 13 or a 14-year-old boy might be. They have to have their heads in the right space for one, and they need to know how to move their own bodies. Now, that's not to say you can't take, let's say, any 13-year-old and start working with them to some degree. One 13-year-old might need to take a few steps back before they're ready to start a training program. And regardless of what you're doing, even if they're physically prepared, you still have to take certain steps to make sure where they're at, both emotionally and physically. So you have to start by the basics. Teach them how to breathe using your belly, how to brace your core. Teach them how to do stuff like a plank, a hip hinge, how to squat. Basically, you need to make sure they're able to move their own body under control. You have to take those steps first. And then, once you're convinced that they're physically prepared, you start things slowly, gradually. You can make good strength gains with a kid that will make a noticeable difference even within a month or so. But the goal here isn't to take a 13-year-old and turn them into Arnold Schwarzenegger in 3 or 4 months. You don't want to start loading them up with heavy weight and bam, off to the races. No, this is a long-term process. But what you want to do with someone who's younger is instill in them the basics. Help them to have better strength relative to their body weight. Make sure they have good mechanics and that they've learned the fundamentals so that, if they end up in a weight room when they're 16 with their friends or in the gym at school and they start messing around, they have at least a fundamental understanding of what they're doing so they don't go and get hurt. And that's the number one thing here about any strength training program, by the way. Strength and conditioning, the number one goal here is don't get them hurt and prevent injuries down the line. Well, I could go on and on about that, but really what strength and conditioning is about, especially at a young age, is to make them as resilient as you can. So that's it for today. If you guys have any questions, reach out.